Most people think money problems start at work, at the office, at the job, but they don't. They start somewhere quieter. They start at home, late at night when the lights are low and the phone finally stops buzzing. You're not working anymore. You're not spending anymore. You're just sitting there scrolling, thinking about rent, thinking about groceries, thinking about how the paycheck already feels gone before it even arrives. You worked all week. You showed up on time. You did what you were supposed to do. So why does it still feel tight? Why does it feel like you're always one step behind, no matter how hard you try? That question matters more than people realize, because the answer has nothing to do with laziness and everything to do with the system you're inside. The path sounds simple. Go to school, get good grades, be responsible. From the beginning, that's the message. Sit still, pay attention, do what you're told, and for a while it makes sense. You graduate, you get your first job, you feel proud, that first paycheck hits different. It feels like proof that the system works, proof that effort turns into money. But then, real life shows up. Not all at once. Slowly, rent comes first, before you even touch the money. Then groceries, gas, internet, phone bill, then the quiet ones. Subscriptions you signed up for months ago, apps you barely use, charges you don't even remember approving. The paycheck comes in and almost immediately it starts leaving. You don't feel broke, but you don't feel ahead either. You feel stuck in the middle, and no one ever explains why. School taught you math, but not money. Work taught you discipline, but not cash flow. So when things feel tight, people don't question the system. They question themselves. Maybe I need more hours. Maybe I need a better job. Maybe I need to sacrifice more. So they work harder, they stay busy. But busy doesn't always mean progress. And that's where the confusion begins. This is the part most people never see, because on the surface, everything looks normal. You wake up, you go to work, you stay busy. From the outside, it looks like progress. But underneath, something strange is happening. People are moving a lot, but they're not moving forward. They're working harder. They're staying later. They're saying yes more often. And still, nothing really changes. That's because effort was never the real problem. The system was money doesn't move randomly. It follows rules, quiet rules, invisible rules, rules most people were never taught. Your paycheck doesn't arrive to help you build. It arrives with instructions. Rent first, bills next, debt after that, and whatever is left is supposed to be enough. So money flows out before it ever has time to slow down. Earn, spend, repeat. Week after week, month after month. That's the loop. And once you're inside it, it feels normal. You don't feel like you're failing. You just feel tired. Tired of running. Tired of trying to catch up. Tired of feeling like the finish line keeps moving. Cash flow decides who stays in that loop. Not intelligence. Not motivation. Not even how hard you work. Position. Where you stand in the flow of money. Most people stand at the very end. They receive money last and lose it first. And no one ever tells them there's another way to stand. So they blame themselves. They think if I just push harder, this will finally work. But pushing harder inside the same system only makes the loop tighter. And that's the trap. At some point, something changes. Not outside, inside. People don't quit their jobs. They don't disappear. They don't give up. They just start asking questions. Quiet questions. The kind you ask yourself when no one else is around. Why am I always busy but still stressed? Why does it feel like I'm doing everything right but still falling behind? Why does money feel tight even after a raise? At first, people try to ignore those questions. They tell themselves it's normal, that everyone feels this way, that this is just how adulthood works, but the questions don't go away. They get louder. That's when awareness begins. People realize effort alone isn't the issue, because they've already tried effort, a lot of it, late nights, early mornings, missed weekends, and yet the result stays the same. That's when a new thought shows up. Maybe direction matters more than speed. Maybe running faster inside the same maze doesn't lead anywhere new. Most people were never shown a map. They were just told to keep moving, keep grinding, keep pushing, keep going. But keep going without direction just leads to exhaustion. The people who eventually break out don't suddenly become smarter. They become curious. They stop asking, how do I work harder? And start asking, how does this actually work? How does money move? Who controls the flow? Why does it slow down for some people and speed up for others? This is the moment where perspective shifts, because once you realize you're inside a system, you stop blaming yourself for reacting exactly the way the system was designed for you to react. And that realization changes how you see everything. This is where the story starts to change, not because people suddenly work harder, but because the tools change. This is where technology enters the picture. And no, not in the way movies show it. AI doesn't show up to replace your job overnight. It doesn't take control. It doesn't flip a switch. What it really does is much quieter than that. AI replaces repetition, the small tasks, the boring tasks, the things people used to trade hours for without even realizing how much time they were giving up. Emails, scheduling, follow-ups, data entry, customer replies, things that don't feel important individually, but quietly eat entire days. For decades, the only way to grow income was to trade more time, more hours, more effort, more energy. And that always hit a limit. But systems don't get tired. Systems don't need breaks. They don't call in sick. They don't slow down at night. That's the difference. This is why some people scale without working longer hours, and why others feel like they're running faster just to stay in the same place. It's not about intelligence. It's not about being good with computers. It's about leverage. Leverage is simply the ability to get more results without adding more effort. For a long time, leverage belonged to companies, to corporations, to people who already had resources. AI changes that. Not by making anyone rich overnight, but by lowering the barrier. Now, regular people can build systems, simple systems, quiet systems, systems that handle tasks even when you're not there. When you understand cash flow, AI stops being intimidating. Leverage is simply the ability to get more results without adding more effort. For a long time, leverage belonged to companies, to corporations, to people who already had resources. AI changes that, not by making anyone rich overnight, but by lowering the barrier. Now, regular people can build systems. Simple systems, quiet systems, systems that handle tasks even when you're not there. When you understand cash flow, AI stops being intimidating. It stops feeling like a threat. It becomes a tool that helps money move differently, not faster in a flashy way, but smoother, more consistently, with less friction. And once people see that, they stop asking, how do I work more? And start asking, what can I automate? That question is where modern cash flow begins. Like and subscribe to Wealthy Flow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.